Craft Farmer here with another amazing instructional video. I'm going to show you these purpose-built kits that I put together, why they work so well. You'll see how easy they are to install and why you want them in your grow room, regardless how big or small. So the first thing we're doing today is the Craft Farmer Manifold Kit. As you can see, I have pre-plumbed my water supply already. So this 3/4 inch line going up through the ceiling is our water supply from our tank to feed the room. So this is where the Manifold Kit starts. You can have it come from the left side, you can have it come from the right side, you can have it come from the bottom, you can have it come from the center, you can have it come from anywhere you want, and it works perfectly fine. So the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put up some unistrut mounts so that I can clamp this manifold to it. And I just wanted to show you a couple very simple, easy tools if you're working around sheetrock or wood. If it's painted, you don't know where the studs are. The laser is an amazing tool and very versatile. You can use it for anything. We're using it here to give us a perfectly straight line on our irrigation. Another great tool to have is a magnet. The magnet will simply show you where you have a stud without you guessing and knocking on the sheetrock and banging your knuckles up. So this tells me right here, there's a screw there, and so there's where my stud is. It'll be very easy to mount to. So let's jump right into installing this manifold kit. So here we have our basic manifold kit. This is a 4-zone kit with a shutoff valve and a spigot. What's nice is if you have a 5-zone, you can easily do this. If you have a 3-zone, you can easily do this. So as you can see, there's a lot of different versatility to the kit. We have our screws, we have our washers. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start getting our strut ready. So I'm gonna come on over here. We got our nice laser level line. I'm gonna find our stud. So there's our first one. That's where our first clamp's going. As you can see, I put the set washer inside here and then the screw, and that's how I lock these in. So I'm gonna come up over here. Here's our stud. And then before I suck it down, I want to throw the level on it and just make sure everything is copacetic and looks good. Now we're going to come over here. I'm looking for my stud again. Boom. Got my little magnetic finder. It finds it perfectly. I'm going to grab my next one. I like these to be perfect. So as you can see, this is very easy with the right tools. I'm not using the measuring tape. I'm not having to do all this shit. The laser makes things very, very easy. One of the best $200 you can spend. And then everybody can be impressed with when they come to your spot and see how clean everything is and how straight. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our next one. We use our stud finder. Boom, look at how easy that is. Should have seen me in the past. I'd be swearing, screaming, dropping shit. I feel like a new man with this technology. Okay, so we're coming in. We got zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and then our dump. So I'm gonna do one more. There we are, just like that, all of the mounts for our manifold is done. It is that easy. So let's now get into installing our shutoff valve and getting our first piece of pipe up there. You need to decide how you want this mounted before you do it. So we're gonna go like this. So I'm gonna put a little piece on this end of it, and I wanna show you how I glue this. I dip my glue, I rub the excess on the outside, and the first thing I do is very carefully get the inside of this. Everybody knows what ugly glue joints look like and nobody likes them, especially when they're all over your grow that you're so proud of. I do a nice little ball there, and then watch. I put this in, and I spin this around. Look at how clean that glue joint is. Something to be very proud of. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this now so that we can glue it in. Spin the excess off. I come over here. I glued the wrong side, but we can make it work. Pull that out. Glue this. And then just so I can hold this here for a second, and this will just give us, this doesn't have to be perfect or level right now. We're gonna get this set. All right, we got our first piece up. We got our shutoff valve glued in. Here's gonna be our first zone of the table. So we're gonna put this in right here. Now it's really important when you glue these in that they're nice and level for you. So make sure you get it right when you're gluing it in. You don't want it like this. You don't want it facing backwards. It's very important that it's nice and level. So make sure when you glue that, it's set correctly. Once around the pipe nicely, let it drip if it has to. Boom, zone 1. A little trick, when I'm gluing this, I like to hide the words on the pipe. So I spin this around so you don't see that. No free advertising in my grow rooms. Get this clamp in here so we're supporting it and it's not bending. So here we've gone ahead and add our shutoff. We've added zone 1 of 3. As you're doing this, you want to decide where you want your spigot. So depending on where you want this available so that you can also hand water your plants if needed, you want to think about putting this in as you're going. So this is right between zone 1 and 2. This is a great place to add it. So we're gonna go ahead and add a T right here for our spigot. We're gonna go ahead and mount this. Now, right here is hollow wall. There's no stud. So we're gonna use sheetrock hangers for these mounts. And I'm gonna be gentle with this. I don't wanna strip this out. But there it is. So we got our 3 hangers set. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get our strut ready. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna remember to always put your washer in first. We're gonna put our washer in there. I'm gonna go light so I can make sure that I got this nice and level. So here we have our mounts so that now we can drop a piece of pipe here and have our spigot. The point of this is if you're ever in your room and you need to hydrate a plant, you need to water a plant, anything like that, we can easily do that with what we just set up. Now, we're gonna do something special with this manifold kit and this drain kit that I haven't done before, but it's such a universal kit. I wanted to show you one of the many versatile things that you can do with this kit. So as you know, hot water is not good for plants. Hot water is bad. The building that this room is in is not treated. That means that water is going to get hot. We do not want to water that hot water. So what I'm going to do is at the very end of this manifold, after our zone here, I'm going to have an elbow and I'm going to install a secondary irrigation valve. What this irrigation valve is going to do is it's going to go down and tie into my drain kit. So I'm going to program this irrigation valve to open for as long as it takes the 40 feet of hot water to get pushed through the pipe into the drain kit. So every time these plants get fed, it will be with 65-degree water. So if you do not have a conditioned space meaning where your pipes are at and everything is not temperature controlled, this is something you're gonna wanna think about adding. You do not want that hot 90-degree water to be hitting your plants, so this is a way, at the very end of your manifold, you add this tied into the drain kit, and it's gonna automatically drain all this hot water every time. All right, another amazing tool, the portable bandsaw. My life changed when I got this and a laser level. So I just want to show you how easy this is to cut. I measure these by how many holes. So I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3 pieces of strut, and I just want to show you how easy this really is. The tools really make the experience much, much better. Using the proper tools is the way to go. If you have any questions, reach out to us. I'm doing these installs all the time. I'll tell you exactly what to get. So this is going to be the mount for my line that is going to eliminate all the hot water in my pipes. Tightened. I'm going to hit the bottom one. Okay, and now we got the last one. Show you guys what this is gonna look like. This is gonna be an elbow at the very end of the manifold. Then we're gonna have our irrigation valve, and then it'll tie right in. Common question I get a lot of times. Lance, why don't you have a shutoff valve here? Shutoff valves fail over time. I don't see any reason to have a shutoff valve at every single one of my zones. But why, Craft? If I shut this off, I can do anything that I want without cutting it. The bodies of this never fails. Pressure regulator can be unscrewed easily. The housing of the filter never fails, and the actual housing of the solenoid never fails. You can simply remove these 4 screws, and you can take out the entire guts of this. There's no reason for me to personally have a shutoff valve there, and that's why I don't. All right, so we just finished mounting our unistrut mounts down the wall for our spigots so we can hand water whenever we want. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this piece of pipe, glue that in, and we'll move down with our other zones and the rest of the manifold. I'm gonna go around this first so it's not dripping and running. And then I go around the inside of that. So you'll notice as I'm doing this, I'm not checking the level of the pipe itself. I'm just getting everything mounted and set. Then I'll turn my laser on and I'll go back and I'll adjust every little unistrut to make sure everything's nice and straight. For now, we just want to get all the lengths up there, everything glued in, everything set, and then we can go back and straighten it all out. And that goes for our vertical and horizontal pieces. All right, so now all we gotta do is add our elbow and our spigot, and that'll be done. So now let's move to our next zone. So we're gonna glue this, and we're gonna glue this. I think when we first filmed these first install videos, it was right when COVID happened. So I think that was almost about 2 years ago. So you can see where they've slightly changed. We've made it better for you. All right, so now our next zone is gonna go right in here. So I'm gonna cut this off. I like to put it, even though the zone's right here, I don't want it here where it's loose. I want it closer to a mount where we'll have the strength. Nice and flat. With kit number 2 of 3 going in. Blowing on that just keeps it from dripping down the wall and down the tube. I don't like that long drip, so that just locks it in for me. I'm gonna cut that to length right here. Okay. Okay. Now our last whip kit is gonna go right here. All right, so we've done a little bit of work behind the scenes and putting some final touches on the manifold kit and the whip kits. And we're gonna go ahead and do a little walkthrough with you now, overcap what we did, and then our next step. So from the beginning, we have our water coming into the room. In this application, it's coming from above in the corner. It can come from below, it can come from the left side, the right side. It doesn't matter where it comes from. We have a shutoff valve, so we can shut off the water to the manifold kit, and we can do any of the work that we need to, any installation or repair work, anything like that. So manifold kit is installed. We have 3 whip kits that are assembled and installed in this application. And then we have added a 4th solenoid that goes to the drain that will open and eliminate all the hot water in the system before the plants get irrigated. So there it is in all of its glory. The 3/4 inch manifold kit is installed. You can also see that we have added the spigot that comes with the kit. That way at any point if you need to hand water anything in your room or you want extra water, you need to fill a cup, do anything, you've got it right there. So both the 3/4 inch and the 1 inch, it all gets installed the same way. So we've got our manifold for all of our zones. We have our whip kits installed. The very last thing that needs to happen is the hose from the whip kit to the table itself to complete that installation. But what we're gonna go ahead and do now is we're going to run the communication wire, which tells all of these different zones to turn on and turn off. I get asked this a lot of times. How do we hook up the irrigation valve to our actual irrigation timer when it's located so far away and we don't want to run so many wires? The very easy answer to this is Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable, and we're going to show you how that goes together right now. All right, so we just dropped our Cat 6 cable into this room, and this is going to be our main communication cable, and this is going to run back to our irrigation controller regardless of what kind of controller you're using. Cool thing about this cable, the reason I like using it, this will control 6 zones if you are not sharing the common wire. If you are sharing the common wire, this cable will run 11 zones in one cable. So the easiest thing for you to do is if you have a room and, for instance, like this, you have 4 zones, you run the cable to your very farthest zone. So you make sure that you have enough length for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. What I like to do is fish this cable inside my strut. Just keeps it really clean, keeps everything really nice. I'll throw a zip tie, and I like making this all clean and hiding this wire. I also like being in the practice of facing all my zip ties the same way. You guys hear me talk about awareness a lot. If you're aware of the littlest things in your life, it'll reward you greatly with other stuff. So everything you're doing when you're working, try to be aware and make stuff as perfect as it can. Trust me, it'll benefit you greatly in your life if you master these small little awareness techniques. I'm hiding my wire. All right, now that we have all this done, it comes to wiring it, and it's really gonna be this easy. So first thing I do is the length that I want this. I'm gonna slice open this jacket with a nice fresh razor blade. If you're not using the same common, which we're not, you're just gonna pick the colors you want for each zone. So, and then while I'm doing that, I'm gonna make a note. So I'm gonna go ahead and go orange, brown, green, blue. So orange is gonna be number 4, brown is gonna be number 3, green is gonna be number 2, blue is gonna be number 1. So we have our strands here. I'm gonna go ahead and get my brown wire out of here. I'm gonna clip it. What's nice about these 24-volt signals is it doesn't matter which wire goes to what. You just need a common and you need a ground, and that is it. I like twisting these together. So I'll pick up some more wire nuts today, but I'll continue down the line. So here's the thing. Our next wire, remember zone 3 is gonna be brown. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna slice this jacket open. Then I'm gonna isolate the blue. And the thing is, we're able to cut these in the middle like this because we don't need the color going the opposite direction. So, and you could even put male and female spade connectors on here to make it kind of like a quick disconnect, so you could unplug it if you wanted to, fix out or change it. So there's blue. Now our last one is gonna be green. We're back to our very last one. You can see how fast and easy this process was. All 4 zones are wired now, and all I gotta do is throw the wire nuts on them, and this is completely finished. That's a wrap. All we gotta do is connect it to our irrigation controller. All right, so we've done some work behind the scenes, and we're just gonna show you what we've done in the meantime. So we finished our whip kit installation. We've now went ahead and mounted our table kit mount. We mounted our piece of unistrut to the table. We've taken the cam lock assembly, the clamp, we've clamped it onto the table, and now we've installed our 3/4 inch hose that comes with the kit. You can shorten up the hose if you want to, or you can leave it the way it is. And then from there, it's a la carte. You're buying as much poly tube as you want, you're buying as many drippers as you want, and you're punching those into your poly tube. So your whip kit comes with all your table kit fittings. The only thing that your whip kit does not come with is the poly tube and the drippers. That is all you need on top of your whip kit. So let's look at it one more time from the very beginning. We have our manifold kit. Manifold kit comes in. We have 3 whip kits coming off this manifold. We also have our spigot here, so we can have fresh water, we can fill it, we can use the hose, nutrients. Whip kit installed, flex hose, cam lock, clamp, table kit, and you're ready to go. Craftfarmer.com, your one-stop shop for the best irrigation kits in the game. Come buy from someone in the trenches growing flower. Cut the check.